Do you want the real story or just
Always the real. The real.
Honestly, like just hearing you say it out loud, I feel like I'm supposed to wear all of these hats as a badge of honor, but I do feel like there's a lot of sacrifice in wearing so many hats.
My guest today is Brittany Valdes, 13 years at Microsoft, founder of the nonprofit The Mom Economy and the Mother of AI Academy, co-founder of an AI-powered renovation company, and a fourth-generation entrepreneur raising 3 boys and 23 chickens in Miami. As always, we get into the actual numbers. Britt breaks down the household number almost nobody can name.
We have a household living budget. Like ours is $180,000 a year is what we have together as a family.
She shares the story behind the 23 chickens. They're part of the business her sons run to fund their baseball gear.
I should call Luke, my oldest son, because he's the CEO of this business. They sell them for $8 a dozen.
She shares exactly how AI puts money back in her pocket each and every month.
I've had QuickBooks forever, and 2 months ago, I do not have QuickBooks anymore, and I built it on Claude.
And what a trip to Hawaii actually took.
I feel like people just see the fruits of your labor of like, oh my gosh, look, they're going to Hawaii. Like, lucky them. They're like, swimming in it. Yeah. I'm like, no, we prepared for an entire year. We sacrificed this. We didn't do this.
Plus the early retirement she's planning in the next 5 years, which does not mean what you think it means. I'm Ashley, certified financial planner, founder of The Fiscal Femme, and I'm asking the question everyone is already wondering. How do people actually afford their lives? This is How Do You Afford This? Welcome to the show, Britt.
I'm so excited to be here, honestly, to talk about my favorite topic. Not really, but money. It's always the scariest thing, right? Sometimes to chat about, but I'm so excited to be here. Thanks, Ash.
Of course. I'm going to get right into it because there's so much I want to talk to you about. You're raising 3 kids and 23 chickens in Miami. You run your own business, is a nonprofit, the Mom Economy, the Mother of AI, an AI-powered renovation company, and you work full-time. How do you afford this?
Do you want the real story or just
always the real? The real.
Honestly, like just hearing you say it out loud, I feel like I'm supposed to wear all of these hats as a badge of honor, but I do feel like there's a lot of sacrifice in wearing so many hats. Like I do work a lot. I don't even feel like work is something that's like segmented in my life. It's just like part of our everyday, which is definitely something that I prioritize of like showing my kids that it's just part of our home and our culture. And I always say I'm like a 4th-generation entrepreneur, so it's in my blood. And yeah, how can I not afford it? That's the question.
Right. It was so many jobs. You're like, yes. And the real question I have is like, how do you have time? How are you standing?
I know. I think that being in the AI space for the last over 4 years, I feel is like when I really started like integrating my life into AI. The time piece is what I spent every single waking hour trying to protect. I've been in the tech industry for 13 years, since 2013. So it's been a long time of me having a full-time job, a career in tech, and like pouring everything into it. And then when AI came to the scene, I was like, okay, I feel like I could do this, but now I can even do it with protecting my time. Like I know what the business outcomes should look like, but it doesn't have to be Brittany's mental brain and mental load doing all of the things. So it was honestly just perfect timing.
Yes, to get that AI. And I want to talk to you so much about AI. But first, just a little bit about your career. So you mentioned you've been working at Microsoft for 13 and a half years, which is a very long time in tech. Like what has kept you and what has that career trajectory looked like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I had a very unorthodox way of starting at Microsoft. So my background's actually marketing and musical theater. I have no tech experience. And when I started, I was a community engagement manager. So I did like partnerships and events and a lot of marketing activations, right? To bring people to the space. So it was Microsoft stores. I don't know if you even remember when Microsoft used to have stores, but they did have stores.
Nice.
And yeah. And what I quickly learned too, just in that career track, is I wanted to stay in tech. Like I loved being at the front lines of innovation. I loved the people that I work with. They were so curious. And I was thinking, I got this open door, right, to start and working in tech, even though I had no tech background. I'm going to stay here and make the most of it. So I went down the rabbit hole and I talked to every single person at Microsoft and was like, how do I get on a career track to stay here and to grow? And I quickly learned that I had to go back to school to get my master's, my MBA. So I did that. It was an investment. I did it with my second maternity leave. So it's so funny because I'm like, I had a second child. Like, I have all this extra time now, right? Let me go back, which I think that honestly, stepping into motherhood, every like child, I have three boys. So every time that I've had a different child, I've started a different business. Like, I feel like it gives you like this new energy of life of like wanting to reinvent something. That's
You
I guess it's
created a
just
human, now you create a business.
that exactly. That's been the track. And yeah, I knew that I was in it for the long game, but it came with a lot of sacrifice, you know? Having the full-time job, having the two kids at home, going back to school back then, the masters had to be in person. There was no virtual. It was Saturday school from 9 to 6 for an entire year and a half. An investment too of like funds. So I get my master's, I get this like raise and this new job in like a corporate, more corporate role at Microsoft, but it ended up being a wash because I was paying for student loans. So it was like another 2 years of just like that building, that hustle, that you know what, like I'm in it for long term, not short term gain. And I feel like that's always been kind of what I've lived off of.
And how did you know you needed to get the MBA? Just someone told you that would be what you need to step into that next role?
Well, I just looked at roles that were my dream roles that I wanted to get into and looked at the qualifications. Things have
Uh,
changed a lot drastically now. I think there's still some level of qualifications when it comes to like, you know, an MBA that they're looking for, but AI is honestly revolutionizing that as well. But at that time, yeah, that was going to be like my one barrier, right? That I didn't have. I knew I could do the job. I just didn't have this thing that wasn't going to allow me to even interview for it. And I wanted to make sure I had no barriers.
I love it. Walk us so that's like the W-2 side, right? Walk
Yeah.
us through the different ventures that you have. And I'm curious because, you're in it for the long haul with the W-2, with your career. What's driven you to build despite having so much success in this W-2? And like, what are those ventures?
Honestly, it's been a little bit of passion, right? So being in tech also meant I felt like I was on an island in my workspace and my W-2 life, especially being a mom in tech. And I felt really alone. So that's what drove me to start the Mom Economy, which is a 501(c)(3) nonprofit, because I really wanted to just have that passion, side hustle, community portion that I was missing. So I didn't even start it as a business, or like I've never gotten a salary for it. We've always done seasonal kind of campaigns to fundraise and to pour back into women that were struggling. And for me, the biggest piece that I felt like I needed to help equip was women that didn't have benefits, because that was one of the things that I felt I had as a W-2. Like, I'm able to make all of these amazing, risks or take time off to bring a child into this world and then have a job to go back to. But I was talking to so many women that didn't have that, and I was like, I have to do something to help bridge the gap. So that's how the Mom Economy was born. And then my husband, he also has a full time job, and we do a lot of home renovation projects. And he comes from a long line of his father's a general contractor, his brother's an electrician, and here in South Florida, those are like really big industries, and we're always doing different home renovation projects. So we started Bathloo really just to fund our own home renovation projects. We're like, okay, we want to get a pool, we want to do this, we want to do that. This costs a lot of money. He already had a lot of the contacts and people that he worked with. So he started studying for his GC license. because he was like, okay, I can do this myself. I know enough people, and he was so good at it.
Is his
Um,
full-time job related to that at all?
he's in sales, but it's always been in like industrial supplies.
Got it.
So it's like kind of related, but a little bit different. And he's been doing that for like 10 years. So it's actually really complementary, right, for his full
Right.
time job because he's in the industry. And then we're able to still do these amazing projects. And he wanted to tackle like the biggest. So bathroom renovations is always like the most annoying. It's like the smallest square foot of space in your home, but it's very expensive. And there's so many different parts of it where it's plumbing, electrical. So he's like, if we could tackle this using like a little bit of technology and making the customer service experience pretty seamless, we can tackle anything. And it kind of hit off. It's been doing great. And I'm really just like, I call myself the CMO. I'm the marketing officer for Bathloo, and he runs the show there. But it's been like a fun project for him and I to work on as well.
I love that you think about the in or like the profit from that as funding your projects, but specific. It's not like, oh, this goes to any expenses. This goes specifically to your home projects
Yes,
from the home
and
project
vacation. I added
and vacation.
vacations in there too.
I love it. That's amazing.
I know. But that's really how I've structured our entire household. We even when you talk about household income, like we have a household living budget. Like ours is $180,000 a year is what we have together as a family to make sure that we could feed our family, that we have the house over our head, that I can put my kids in, private school and tutoring and all the things that are important to us. That budget has shifted, over the years. That's where we're at today. And everything else on top of that, whether it's home renovations, it's vacation, needs to come out of somewhere else that's not our living budget and then our investments. Because for us, it's like really important, like the generational wealth piece
Hmm.
of these small sacrifices that I'm doing today of off of what I'm living are going to be at a much bigger importance to scale of what I'm able to give to my kids in the future. So
So I just
that's
want to make sure I understand this because this is incredible that
yeah.
I don't know if you know how few people know this number. Like to know that number is huge. So basically you figured out that you need 180 after tax per year to cover your expenses. And then, or does that include the investments? And then you have a separate bucket that you're like, this is my generational wealth bucket. And then anything you earn above that from these different businesses is the fun stuff. Is that
Absolutely.
okay?
That is right. And the part to that is looking at your numbers, like literally treating our budget as a P&L and looking at our accounts as a P&L. I used to do it manually. Now, obviously, I do it with Claude.
I love it.
But there's like little changes that sound so nuanced, but that I had to make. Like I was going, for example, to get my nails done every other week, every 2 weeks. And now I go once a month. And maybe I have ugly nails for a week, but it's a big chunk of money at the end of the year. Things like getting coffee at Starbucks or anything like that was a crazy expense that I said, this is not important. No, I'm getting Sip Club at Panera. I pay $10 a month. And when I want to feel like going out for a coffee, I go to the Panera drive through. So it's really just knowing your numbers, what's important to you. And everybody has their own things, right, that they want to invest in. My husband and I just sit and we talk about our priorities and some of the things that I'm just like for him, like it's boat money, uh, going fishing or doing all the things. I'm like, okay, great. That's your budget of what you want to spend. Do what you need to do. But as long as we keep our household income under control, like we're in a good place.
And for both of your, like to get to that 180 after tax, is that coming from your two W-2 jobs or are some of the businesses helping fund that as well?
No, I mean, that's pretty much like our baseline of what we know that's coming every single month.
Got
And
it.
it's been freeing. It's also, something that for me as an entrepreneur, like thinking through, I do have so many things that I'm doing at the same time. Everyone's always like, "Oh my gosh, like why do you do it all?" I'm like, "Cuz I want to go on vacation. I want to do all these different things." But yeah, I think we're this is what today looks like, and we're definitely looking at like I'm already thinking next year. What does the percentage breakdown look like? But it's worked for us so far, and yeah,
And how often are you all checking in on it? Like, it sounds like you're communicating a lot about money, which is also very important, very unique to be so open about
yeah.
it and aware.
Honestly, yeah, we talk pretty openly about it, but I would say quarterly is like when we're doing like a deeper dive of holy smokes, like eating out, right? Has always been like a big pain point and something that him and I have both made a commitment like we can't eat out because it's so expensive. We can only get one or two a week in. And we do like, right, to go to different restaurants or even, not have to cook. But that has been something that we talk on the daily. Like, okay, if we eat out today, like if we go out and splurge today and we're not supposed to, that means next week, no eating out, like so things like that. It's
The
hard.
trade-offs. Yeah,
It's
and it
hard.
sounds like too, because we were talking about, you have 3 sons, and you mentioned that you want them to see work in your family culture. How
Yeah,
are you talking, and this I just thought of from what you're because of these conversations that you're having, but how do you talk to them about money? What do you want them to learn from you about money?
man. So I always tell them, like, for me, money is just like a physical thing and it's not really important. And there's difference between like having money and like storing up your treasures in people. And for me, being rich is having more time with my family and flexibility. Like I talk to managers, I talk to career folks, C suites, and that doesn't drive me. Like more compensation for me to like travel across the United States and be away from my family at this moment in time and this season in my life isn't what drives me.
Mm,
And I don't want that to drive my children either. I want them to be amazing human beings and see that like pouring into people is more lucrative and that should be our currency and that I think that that pours into yourself like long term then you're rich.
it's
So I do talk about that a lot with my kids. And I also talk about like short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. Like there's some things that you have to make decisions today that are really hard. Like my son, he plays baseball and he's really into sports. And while other kids are like gaming or they're on their tablet, like he's going and doing like, I want to get pull-ups done. And every day he's trying to get a pull-up. And I'm like, hey, that extra work, that extra grit, it's going to go a long way, right? Because you're pouring into something like one of your goals that you're trying to achieve. And then talking about the 23 chickens came because we didn't want to eat out as much. We needed protein and we're like, okay, eggs. These kids go through eggs like crazy. Eggs were
I can
really
only imagine.
they were expensive. So we're like, okay, we're getting chickens. My husband has created like there's like a whole chicken culture too. It's self-sustainable. It's like on a deer feeder. The water goes here. The chickens are in their space. There's a space that all the eggs come through. The kids get the eggs. So they run a route. So that egg money, it's called home run eggs. They,
Oh, like to others.
yes, they
That is
sell
so
eggs to kids on our baseball team. They will leave eggs that people pick up eggs at our house and then around our neighborhood. So nothing
home run
crazy.
eggs. I love that.
And the fund of what they collect for that goes into baseball gear because it's really expensive. The kids want a new bat. They're like $500. I'm like, we're
Oh
not
my
paying for
gosh.
$500 bat. Like that's not happening. But them able to like manage some money, seeing the budget of fund, they're like, oh well, I can get new batting gloves. That works with the budget that I have. So that's been really fun, kind of
So smart.
side
And
hustle.
it's
And it
yes, and it's
feeds,
teaching them entrepreneurship.
yeah,
Feeds them,
farming,
teaches them entrepreneurship
agriculture, and entrepreneurship.
and like responsibility taking care of live animals. And your
Yeah.
eggs probably are so good.
They're so good and we've learned so much. Like when the egg comes out, there's a film on the egg. We don't wash them until we're going to eat them. Eggs actually have a very long shelf life. Like you can have them up to 2 months on the shelf when they're coming, straight to the egg because that film is a protectant. once they're washed and cleaned, then you have to refrigerate. So they're like talking to customers, like letting them know. So that he created like this paper that they get when they buy their eggs that like talks to them about how to prepare the eggs. He used AI, of course.
It's in the family. So the funny thing is, I had this list of your businesses, and this one wasn't even one of them.
I know.
All right.
This
So
is
what
why
else do we have?
yeah, I know. And then the other one's the Mother of AI
Wait,
Academy.
sorry. Before we do that, just curious, like
Yes.
how much this chicken, like this business, right? It's making money. How much are you selling the eggs for? And is it
You're
expensive?
like looking at I'm like, I should call Luke, my oldest son, because he's the CEO of this business. So they sell them for $8 a dozen. They have a friends and family rate too, because I feel like some people they were charging $10. But it's like $8 a dozen. My husband, the other piece to it where we had to get really clear with them, at first they didn't want us to deduct what we feed the chickens, the electricity, like all of these components, right? Of like, we are funding this portion. And it was like a big fight because Luke's like, no, I have $500, for this month I can spend. I'm like, no, actually, you have $380 because look, we bought the bulk, but this is for 3 months. And so having that conversation on margins has been super helpful
Right.
um, because as a business owner, revenue is very different than, what you're actually getting in your pocket. And it's something that I talk to women every single day with and that I struggled myself, right? I'm like, oh my
Right.
God, I'm making money. And then I'm looking and I'm like, no, I'm working for free. Like, what's happening here?
A great lesson in like business finances. Okay. So it sounds like the margins are still pretty good though.
They are
Three.
good.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
great. And that's honestly like what I'm paying for eggs. I think last time was like 7.79, and it's at a grocery, not like beautiful
Exactly.
homemade eggs. So
That's why it's like, it's comparable. And people are so kind too. Like some of the neighbors are just like, here's $20. Like they know it's for, baseball. So instead of fundraising, right, which people do all the time for different sports, they actually see them like hustling. So I feel like they've gotten a lot of seed funding.
some
No,
tips.
no pun intended. Trust.
Yes. Oh, I love it. Okay. So then next is I just was like wanted to be full circle, feeling complete about the chickens.
Yes.
And wait, last question on them for the business setup of it. Did were you there? I guess their initial angel investor, like they didn't pay for any of the setup.
They did not.
So you bought
But we take it out. We did show them out of the money that was coming, we would take money from them, like to buy the chicken egg, to buy the seeds, to buy the different things. So it was more of that piece. But yeah, we didn't put any money
and
in.
how far do they have to walk? Like, is it right in your backyard?
Yes. I can see
Okay.
the chicken coop from my desk.
Oh my gosh. All right. You'll have to send me a picture.
I'll
We'll
send you
put
a
it in the
video. Yeah,
trailer.
yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
Awesome. Okay. So next one is the mother of AI, which I personally am obsessed with. So can you tell us about that one?
Yeah, I mean, so last year, being in this world of AI for the last like 4 years, I've been immersed in it, and I just quickly realized that women in general were just behind, not because they wanted to, more for like fear and really concerns, right? Of like what AI is going to do, which I really appreciate. And I think we need more, not fear, but concerns and people asking the right questions and like pushing the boundaries on AI. But not enough women were a part of the conversation.
Mm.
So with everything that was happening on the mom economy, I was like, one of the things we do is we provide benefits for female founders that don't have access to parental leave. With AI, we were creating like parental leave plans, showing women how to find different ways to get, different types of benefits within their state because there are so many nuances. And I'm like, no, there's something to this. Like, I actually have to just get women to start learning AI and how it can work for them. So we did this big summit. I put like my whole entire heart into this Mother of AI summit in 2025 to invite women to learn about AI. Nobody wanted to come. Everybody was scared. Like I feel like it was too new. I had to beg for these 186 brave souls to come to this summit. And for me, it was like eye-opening just to see people, their eyes, the magic behind it, the conversations that started. And I know I needed a space for people to learn in a way that worked for them. And specifically for me, I always say I self-diagnosed myself with ADHD because I'm also doing a bunch of projects. I have 47 tabs open on my computer. And for me, learning is very difficult with everything that I have to go. But with this world of AI, like if you're not spending at least 15 to 20 minutes learning something new every single day, you are going to get left behind. So I really selfishly built this academy for someone like me. And then for all of the women that were like, I don't want to learn this, but now I do because I know that it's going to change my life. But how?
Mm.
There's just a big gap in that. So yeah, I launched the Mother of AI Academy. We started with in-person workshops. We did a bunch because I'm big on data, like feedback, what's working. AI's changing so quickly. So that's the biggest battle. And then with the 6 months of in-person workshops, we had a good understanding of the pain points that we needed to solve for. And then June 1st launched our digital academy because I didn't want to just help women in South Florida. I'm like, no, we have to scale this. So yeah, thank you for being a part of it.
No, of
You're like
course.
the early cohort of it. So I'm so happy that I met you because of this and that you're learning
How does
alongside.
it work? Can people join now at any point?
Yes.
Okay.
So people can join at any point. I've been very intentional about not opening up the floodgates. I know it's like counter because everyone's like now selling these coaching courses and they want to get, hundreds of women in the door, which I love for them. For this specific piece, it's like really getting the right women in the room that are going to benefit from it, that are going to put the time that they need, right, to get into the educational piece. So yeah, we've been just very conservative, right? Of like the marketing and getting it out there. But you can join at any time. We did put like a 90-day window, the academy, because what we were learning, we're giving people too much time.
Mm,
They weren't tapping into the modules and the courses and the things that they would need to do. So like we've done a lot of data and research, right, to get them to the next step. Giving them like this 3-month window is like a good sauce to kind of figure out, okay, what's next. And then they still have access to other pieces, but like the weekly office hours or the one-on-ones and things like that. Like there's definitely some things that we're kind of going back and forth with. But other than that, it's been strong. You can join at any time. The modules are changing and being updated all the time. I think that's been
yes.
the biggest, I mean, you tell me, but I feel like the biggest benefit to the academy is having a team of people that are finding all of the updates and telling you what you need to know about what's hitting AI. Because we're thinking about you guys in mind rather than just like everything that's coming all over the place.
Yes. I've personally, to back up, like one thing when I met you, we were at the Create and Cultivate Haven event. And one thing that struck me when I heard you speak is, I had been dabbling, I was interested, I had some hopes about what it could be, also a lot of concerns. But you said we're in this moment with AI where it's similar to the .com era, where it's like a level playing field and you want women and moms to get in on it. And that like just really sat with me. I'm like, I need to get in on it. Like I need to learn. And I felt like you understood the concerns. And so that I felt like I could do it in a safe way. And to your point on learning something every day, like it literally hurts my brain, my elder millennial brain, like when I'm learning this. But I love how it's iterating real time and we can get our specific questions answered. And it feels like the modules are very much made for someone like me. So I am so obsessed with it that I asked you for a referral link for my audience. So anyone who wants to join, I think anyone, right? You're being
Yeah.
conservative, but Fiscal Femme is the code without it's Fiscal Femme and you can get 10% off. And I'll include it in the show notes. But I've learned so much. And I even wrote a newsletter, I think it was a couple weeks ago, and just like the reason I'm able to do this podcast is because I freed up time with AI, also with an assistant who's using AI. So when you said that one of the reasons you're able to do all these businesses, I'm still in awe of all that you do, but I see how it can be such a support now.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like 4 years ago, before I had I was the one that had the mental load of holding everything in my brain and then having to execute. I like look at that person now and I feel bad for her. I'm like, who was she? Like, how did I do that? I mean, I just worked a lot. Like at midnight, I was on my computer. At 5 in the morning, I was working. Where I've been so blessed, right, to integrate AI in a way that works for me so that I really feel like I'm only working when I'm supposed to be, like the allotted times. And for me, like that's been the most biggest currency in my life is time. If I have more time that I can pour into my family, then I'm making money while I'm
Curious,
sleeping.
like in a right. When you're sleeping, in a
Yeah.
practical way, like, could you share any examples of ways that using AI has saved you time, money, both, either one?
Well, I mean, I feel like a couple of things that I'm always looking at. I mean, subscriptions have always been a hard part of the business, right? Is like you have QuickBooks, you have Shopify, you have Webflow, you have all of these different things. So those are just like monetary things that every single month I reevaluate subscriptions that my businesses have had. And there has been ways that AI has been able to check the box off of those. Like I
Ooh.
removed QuickBooks, which I probably shouldn't be like promoting this for folks. But I've had QuickBooks forever. And 2 months ago, I do not have QuickBooks anymore. And I built it on Claude. And I was able to just make it very personalized to my own. What I actually used QuickBooks for wasn't like what I needed to pay all this money for it
Wait, so
monthly.
you made your own bookkeeper, essentially? Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah. And that's monthly money in my pocket. Like I'm
Yes.
already paying for my cloud subscription. So for me, I'm like, how do I make sure that that dollar is getting more money in my pocket is getting another subscription out. I
Mm,
also like used Webflow for my website, took the entire website, Claude code. When I say I did that, I did not do that, but I had our chief AI architect do it. And he's amazing, Thomas. You know Thomas. But he created everything with Claude code. And now I don't have that $39 a month that I was paying for Webflow.
wow.
Those are the little pieces, right, every day that put money in your pocket. So I think knowing what you're spending money on, is it actually doing anything for you? And can AI automate it, make it better, and make it free?
Mm.
That's definitely something that needs to happen in every business and small business now. So that's just like a small way that I've done that. And then for the time piece, it's really just for me, what I enjoy doing and what I'm good at is talking with people. So, like my day job, the more customer conversations that I have, the more success I have in my day job. So, anything that wasn't me talking to someone or having those customer conversations ended up being something that was taking money out of my pocket. So, the follow-up emails, the recaps, the presentation decks or proposals. I have 30 proposals from the last month that I've sent. There's not rocket science to it. There is a way that AI can use what I'm talking and pull transcripts, right, from my customer meetings to automatically do some of these things that would take me 2 to 3 hours to send after every single customer call. It's not perfect. I'm still in there. I'm still manually, fixing some things, but at least having a system, I mean, it's literally changed the way that I work.
Right, and then you get to do what you actually wanna be doing, and that actually helps the company the most.
Exactly. Yes.
I think I'm very similar in that I should be speaking, I should be doing a podcast, I should be making content, writing, like, I should be talking about money, not all the other
Administrative.
stuff. Yeah.
I think so, like in the academy early on, we talk about this like part of your brain and to like write down, right? What are the things that only you could do, only Ashley and Brittany can do? And then what are all the things that you know that you're doing that someone else could do better than you?
Mm.
Knowing that is like a good starting point. For me, I hate social media and creating content. Right now, I feel like that is the hardest thing for AI to do well because so many people are using AI, right? And you're seeing a lot of that AI slop, but there's a lot of backlash to it.
Yes.
So for me, I've just been doubling down on authenticity, on just having conversations rather than getting so, paralyzed on the piece of like the content creation and the editing and making it look so perfect when now everybody's making everything look perfect. Like you're getting like all these Canva templates all over the place and it's just kind of not even important. So I feel like doing those monthly, now I do them probably weekly shifts have been crucial.
The shifts to give something up essentially or have it help you with something.
Yeah, like if I'm
Yeah.
spending time on editing a video, I mean, and it takes me an hour to edit a video.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's crazy. I'm like, this is insane. I should not be doing this. I just don't edit it and I just post it crazy. And I get the same, like the same thing. Like before I would never do that. I would be like, no, I have to sit, I have to do this. And I'm just like, okay, what's the goal here? The goal is to start a conversation, to get in front of people, to do these things. So I feel like it's even given me a power. AI has given me a power to be more bullish on the things that I know that AI can't do. Like right now, AI can't do this conversation with Ashley, right?
So you're going all in on them.
I'm going all in.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
And I tell my
Something so ironically, I was going to ask you about something you posted about that was the Marie Kondo challenge with Claude.
yes,
I
I
was
love
like,
it.
I need to do this because my first book, The Money Cleanse, was inspired by what she shared around things like align your money with your values and let things go. So I felt so aligned with that. And then you shared this. So I'm curious, like, what is it? How can we do it?
Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with cleanses. All types of cleanses, but specifically home ones. Yeah, I mean, I think for me as a parent in this world, one of the things I struggle with is I feel so efficient at work and with my work things. And then I get off of my work mode and I go into my house and everything's a mess. And I was like, if this was my company, I would never allow this to slide. Like the laundry, the systems for meal prepping. And I had struggled with that. Like I just felt like there was a mental load in like I felt better at work than I did at home. And I'm like, okay, there has to be a way for me to integrate some sort of solution or system using AI. So between home edit and the condo, I did like all the pieces that I liked of it, the pieces that I felt were sustainable. And then I asked Claude, like, knowing what you know about me and my work, how long is this actually going to take me? So that's how I got like the 2 week mark. Like Claude knew me as like, look, don't think you're going to do this over a weekend. I know you want to, but you're going to need some time to commit. Do it little by little because you're going to take room by room, be super intentional rather than just like throwing everything crazy on a wall. And then for me, that's something important is seeing the end in mind. So having the first step of this cleanse is like to take pictures of all your real estate, right? Where you could put items into. So your closets, your pantries, whatever that looks like. And then you give it like a supplies list of what you currently have. And then AI helps you kind of zone out your house on where you put these things. But now you only have a specific amount of real estate. So it also makes you like, all right, I can't keep the 37 leggings because it only has to fit in this drawer. Now I can only put 15 leggings. So you start doing those little choices and it's been really fun. It's honestly been very therapeutic.
And I love that like the before and afters are so compelling.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. And it's motivating. Like for me, it's like the mood board that you need because you're like, oh, it could look like this. And they're so realistic because it's like in your pantry or in,
You're like,
in your closet that you're like, okay, I can do this. Like I kind of know where things go. So I feel like it does have this level of motivation.
yes. And okay, so we talked about when you're talking about AI in the summit, when you first had the summit, like people were scared to go. I would love for just to give your, like, if I give you three different scenarios or types of people, what tips would you give them? So, like, the first would be someone who has zero experience with Claudia, zero AI experience. They're intimidated. Where, where can she start this week?
So anybody that's just intimidated with AI, there's two kind of folds to it. Is like it has to solve a pain point. Okay. It has to be something personal to you that you working on it doesn't feel like work and that you can go down the rabbit hole and like explore it and get an outcome in mind. So like
Mm.
even like the closet, that's a perfect example of like an easy lift to take a picture of your closet and ask AI like this is what I want it to look like. Help me get there. What would you do to do that? So I think the pain point piece is huge. And then the second piece is there's so many like free resources out there of like different AI solutions. So I have like a couple that I send to people and I'm just like, watch this video. Like, what do you think about it? Like, is it confusing? Do you feel like you have a lot of questions? So just start kind of dabbling in what that looks like for you. And then I think for me, the most confusing piece is that there's so many different AI tools. So don't get caught up on the tool, get caught up on the outcome. What are you trying to solve for? So find that and then let the tool or the way that you do that be the secondary, not the primary.
And would you let the AI recommend the tool
Absolutely.
so that you don't have to even go there? Yeah.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
maybe I can link to the video you share in the notes for those
Yeah.
who are in that
Yeah.
situation.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so
It's the way of
second
thinking.
person, the corporate employee who wants to use AI to get promoted or paid more. I feel like your example was such a great example. Like you've shifted from spending a lot of time on things that aren't actually moving the needle for the company. But curious, what would you say to that person?
Yeah. I mean, in corporate America, that's where I live day in and day out. And like for me, I live in Copilot, and Copilot has this thing called Work IQ, which basically is every single thing that is in your work sphere, even your org chart, what other people are working on that you have access to. It can reason and give you advice. So I do this all the time within my own Copilot of asking it questions on how do I get promoted? What is a track that I should go through? Who are people that I should set up one on one times?
Mm.
So when it comes to corporate America and like just if you want that to be like your thing, relationships is key more than ever because of AI being such a force. Like having that as part of your rhythm every week, you should have a one-on-one coffee chat with whether it's 15 minutes with someone that you do not work with on a day-to-day basis. I've done that forever. And that's why I've been at that's like pretty much the only reason why I've been at Microsoft for 13 years is that I don't silo myself in just my role, what I have to do. Yes, that's important, but you also have to know what's important to the company and also think 6 to 9 months ahead. If you're seeing gaps in the organization today, always think about, what should my role look like in 9 months and you'll be fine. But asking Copilot or AI that knows the work that you're doing ends up being a really good thought partner.
Someone who's starting a business who wants AI to be their first employee, what would you tell them?
Treat it like an employee. So when you're onboarding an employee, there's a lot of different things that have to go into that process. Interviewing, qualifications that you want, the hours that they're going to work, the work that they're doing. All of that should be documented before you even think about building that AI employee or that AI agent. I think that that's been the biggest problem is that people go straight into build and then they're like building the airplane while it's flying and it doesn't end up doing what they want it to do. And it's just because they didn't put enough time in the beginning to make sure that they gave it very, very clear instructions. And even like you build a persona, build a personality. Like in Mother of AI Academy, we have Mai, and she's like our community manager. Mai has like a crazy backstory. Like we built her like a part of our team. And like Thomas and I talk about her like she's part of our team. Like, oh yeah, Mai mentioned that someone, put a bug in and we had to do this. So yeah, like I feel like you have to do that. and to have just very clear guardrails of what you want them to do.
I feel like
Give
that
them
was
what's
definitely me, like, trying AI, trying things and being like, "This doesn't work. Like, what is all this fuss is about?" And it was
yeah,
because there was no context, there was no direction, there was nothing that I built up. It was just asking it to start working right away. Like, you would never do that with a new employee that was a real employee.
exactly. And what you said is I think for women, especially just people in business, they have a very clear idea of what something should look like, that what the end should look like, what a project should look like. Even with a real employee, like there's just it's so hard to coach someone and to get someone to do exactly what you want them to do and not hurt their feelings, the communication piece of it. So for me that's been really freeing because I'm a people pleaser and it's hard for me to tell people like this is not good work. Even at first, like I was like talking like that with my AI agents. And now I've just been very like direct, like this is wrong, this is right, this is, like so having that level of not even like fluff or having to like sugarcoat anything has been a game changer for me and like having more AI agent support.
That makes perfect sense. What is something about your finances that people would never guess?
That's a good question. I mean, I think that we live in a world or like in a culture, like even in our home of, and I kind of alluded to this, is like if we wanted something, right? We figure out a way to, we don't say no, as in like, oh, this vacation's too expensive or we're not going to do this. Like we just, for example, we went to Hawaii for 10 days for summer and it was a big chunk of funds. And we've been preparing for this for over a year. And like my husband and I had a conversation. It's like we either don't go to Hawaii because we can't afford to do that. Like this is crazy. Like this would be back us up in this and like our plan. Or we find a way. And in this year, we have to find that way. So as much as we're conservative in like the pieces of our business or the way that we work home, I do feel like we take risks on the things that we really feel like we want to do or splurge on and make it happen. So we took our three kids to Hawaii and it was like the best decision that we ever did and we made a plan to make it work. So I feel like people just see the fruits of your labor of like, oh my gosh, look, they're going to Hawaii. Like, lucky them. They're like, swimming in it. And it's like,
Backstroke.
no, yeah. I'm like, no, we prepared for an entire year. We sacrificed this. We didn't do this. Like, I just feel like people, and in social media in general, you just see the good parts and you don't see the sacrifice. And I definitely like make that a priority too for like even my kids to see both. I don't
Right.
want them to just know that we're going to Hawaii. I'm like, no, you better enjoy it and get off your phone or your tablet or whatever and look at the look at this waterfall, like it's no screens because it took us everything to get you here.
Yes, and something you told me that we didn't mention is, like, you also max out your 401k, like, you focus
Yes,
a lot on investments, and so this was in addition to all of that,
absolutely.
right? So
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely been. I mean, I started in my role in 2013, even just like tapping into the stocks, right? Employee stock plan. We get
mm,
10% off of stocks. That's huge
yeah,
over
10%
13 years.
return right off the bat, yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to let that go to waste. I did like a search in 2013. My Microsoft stock was like at $34 a share, and I checked today, it's like 290. I don't check all the time, but I'm
Wow,
just like, you show that the growth, right? That alone, not necessarily like the career ladder of like getting the new role and the salary and this. It's like everything else that you do in the back end that actually helps build that portfolio and that wealth that you can have
right.
as for the future.
And it's such a good
Yeah.
point that no one sees, like, I moved my nails to once a month to make
Yeah.
this trip happen, or I'm doing like, we had dinner out and there was a picture of that, but, like, the next week it didn't happen because people don't see what
Yes.
didn't happen or, like, what yeah.
For me, my grandparents struggle, my parent struggle has been a core identity of the way that I manage money today. And I get super sentimental about it because my grandfather owned businesses in Cuba, lost everything, and then had to come to the United States, learn a different language and start from scratch, and then start another business, right, to help his family. So that's like rooted in my DNA. And then my father was a financial advisor, still is, but in the 2008 crash, lost everything and then restarted a business and ended up having like a vitamin.com store and restarted again. And for me, those things that people would see as like barriers or problems have just been fuel for me of like, I have no excuse. Like I was born here. I know the language. Like if my grandparents can restart from everything, how can I just keep going from like the baseline that they've given me? And then that's something that I just instill in my kids. Like I want them to know those stories. I want them to have some sort of struggle and grit because I do think that that's what makes us wealthy for years to come, not just for today, you know?
Right. You know where you're building from.
Exactly.
So you talked about how, like, this was all about how you're affording this current incredible life. What are you working towards affording next?
Retirement, early retirement. I mean, I
Yes.
think for me, that that has such a different definition now, and I see it with my parents, where they've worked so hard to retire, right? And then by the time that they get to retire, do they actually get to enjoy it? No, then there's like health things that pop up or all of these pieces to the puzzle that I am like, I am not going to have this idea of when I retire, I will do this. When I retire, I'm going to do this, which is what I feel like I heard from the past. So even when I say early retirement, I'm thinking like in the next 5 years. For me, retirement looks like retirement of money that's coming transactional as that W-2 baseline of what's coming needs to be something on autopilot using AI instead of there having to be me physically doing something to get something in return. I don't know what that means yet. That's what we're building at the Mother of AI Academy. So if you want to do that, let's join because these are
Yes.
the conversations we're having every day.
I love it. So work and earning is still happening, but you're not physically doing the work. You are in retirement.
Absolutely. And not doing the work that's not the work that Brittany's supposed to be doing.
Right.
Because then it's not
Thank
work, you know?
Right. 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 Yes. Okay. So thank you so much for sharing about the incredible work you're doing in so many places, how we can use AI to build wealth and flexibility, which is also wealth in our own lives. Where can everyone find you and support your work?
Yeah. So on Instagram, I'm pretty active at the Mother of AI. And then if you wanted to learn about the Academy, it's themotherofai.com. And then also for anybody that is wanting to get support for things like benefits or parental leave, female founders, like I'm super passionate about the work that we do at the Mom Economy. So it's at themomeconomy.com, and that's our 501c3 nonprofit. And we're continuing just getting resources and support for female founders.
Amazing. Everyone, go follow Brit, check out the Mother of AI, the Mom Economy, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Ashley.
Thank you so much for listening to How Do You Afford This? If you loved this inside look into how people are actually affording their lives, follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We have new episodes dropping every week, and trust me, you do not want to miss them. And if you're enjoying the show, it would mean the world to me if you left a review. It takes just a minute and helps more people find the show. One more thing before you go, if this got you fired up to chase your own money goals, come hang out with us in the Money Club. It's a community of ambitious women building wealth together, and on average, members put an extra $10,000 toward their money goals in the first year. Come see what it's all about at thefiscalfemme.com/money-club. All of it, the show, the club, everything I do is part of my mission to make crafting a wealthy life more accessible, more transparent, and a whole lot more fun. See you next week.